Patrick McNeil joined now at the intermission by Cape Breton Eagles second-year forward Cam Squires. Personally is off to a very good start this season, but obviously the team trying to get in the win column. Cam, what are your thoughts on the young season thus far?
It's been good at times, for sure. We're a young group, and we got some veteran experience on that side, too. But it's just a mix of good combinations here, and we're seeing a lot of good things, and it may not show it in the win category and the numbers side of things. But within the locker room, we're really liking where we're at. We're trusting the process, and we're playing the right way. But it's just going to be a matter of time before some bounces start coming to us.
They were coming to you personally at the beginning of the year because you scored in your first 4 games, then the next game 2 assists, and then the next game after that you're held off the score sheet, but you get the shootout winner. Have you had a stretch like that in your career? Where does that compare in terms of some of the best hockey you've played?
I think it's just a mix of things, just playing with confidence and playing with the puck. It's huge for me coming in, especially in a sophomore year. Just coming in and not changing my game too much, but just playing with that poise and that confidence with the puck. But you go through stretches at that time and you just kind of worry about the game and playing the right way too. So points and that stuff's going to come, but you really want to focus on playing 200 feet and compete throughout the ice.
Big moment for you in the early part of the season. You played with him last year, first time getting to play against your brother, and I saw there were a couple of checks there because forward versus a defenseman. What was that experience like?
It was a special moment for sure. Me and Jake, we played together last year, and that took the icing on the cake there last year, just playing together and living together here in Cape Breton, spending every day together. It was very good for the both of us and made the transition pretty easy for me. But playing against him this year, it was nothing but fun. We were picking at each other and kind of slashing and hitting each other as well, just like we used to back in the old days, whether it was mini sticks or road hockey, but just made us both feel like kids again. And it was pretty fun for the both of us.
You had familiarity with him when you came into Cape Breton, and he gets replaced at your billet house with Will Shields. Tell us about how you know Will before he came to Cape Breton.
So me and Will were pretty familiar with each other before he showed up. We went to the prep school Bishop Kearney together, and I went down there when I was 15. He would have been 14. He played on the U14s, and I played on the 15s. So we lived in the same dorm residence, and it was good for the both of us. We got to have that kind of Canadian bond down there with a lot of American players and learn about that way and the style of play there. So coming together, we were both pretty close.
We've seen different looks to the lineup in the early part of the year, but one almost consistency is you playing a lot on a line with Samuel Johnson and Ivan. Ivan, how do you think that trio works together?
It's good. It's just a mix of fun and kind of what works and who plays well with each other. And me and Ivy got a little taste last year about playing with each other, and we really enjoyed it. We feed well off each other, and then having Johnny, a skilled guy, he thinks the game so well. So there's a lot of hockey IQ between the three of us. We get to open space and we place pucks really well. So it's just a matter of playing with speed and just kind of letting it all go. You're not thinking too much, not overhandling pucks, but just playing our game and letting it all go and then crashing the net and good things will happen between the three of us.
Your draft year this year, I'm sure that's in the back of your mind. How much of that do you think about? Do you talk to scouts a lot?
It's a big year for the 05s, myself included. It's always going to be in the back of your mind, especially as a player and you're going through things. But I think it helps for me just how much we play games. And just in some circumstances, if you have a bad game, the next day you can get right back out there and play again. It's about consistency and just having a short memory if things don't go your way. But it's always going to be in the back of my mind, like you said. And really, for me, you hear it so much and it sounds like such a cliche, but just enjoying the whole process and teams talking to me and having that kind of special moments. And you're getting calls from scouts from teams that you grew up watching on the TV. It's pretty special and it's pretty surreal. So just kind of playing my game and controlling what I can control, but then enjoying it as well.
Fans saw you wear 21 last year, but those who know you well know you like the number 12, which you're wearing now. How quickly did you jump to get that 12 that Jerome McGinley wore back in the day?
It was pretty quick, and last year it was 21 just because it was 12 backwards and the availability, but it was a quick change as soon as I seen the number was available. So just like you said, Jerome McGinley, back in the day, he was my favorite player growing up, and he inspired me a lot. And that's kind of what started it, and 12 was there for the taking, so I jumped on it pretty quick.
We're chatting with Cam Squires, the Cape Breton Eagles here. You talk about being a complete player. How much do you feel you've improved your play away from the puck, and how much of a focus is that for you?
I feel it's came a long way, especially when you make that jump from 15 to 16 into junior hockey and the puck's on your stick a lot less. For me as an offensive player, it was just about being in the right spots at the right times and then using your legs to get to open ice, but then being on top of the puck and playing within systems. But like our coach says, you don't want to take away our instincts. So just play the way I can play and get touches when I can. And then it was just developing that 200-foot game where you're in the right spots in the D zone and looking after that part first.
Last season, I was talking to Corey Arsenault. He's the radio guy for the Charlottetown Islanders, and he was talking about the wealth of talent over in PEI that's made its way to the Q. Also cited your father, Jeff Squires, a big part of that with his coaching. Just how special has it been the last few years to be a part of a successful group of Islanders coming into the Q?
It's pretty special to see. Over the years, we've had a lot of good teams growing up. In Charlottetown minor hockey, it's a pretty small community, so a lot of the same faces, a lot of the same guys coming out each year. I've had a pretty special opportunity when I was younger to build those relationships and play with guys. And just like you said, there's lots of PEI talent in the Q, and see it grow into the NHL too. You got guys like Dobson, McEwen, Johnson, Spenny. All those guys are performing well at the top of their game, and it's just growing so much, and it's so good to see for guys like myself who are kind of in the middle of that now.
You kind of talked about this already, but what do you feel you've most progressed on in your Q career? How do you feel you've changed as a player since coming into the Eagles?
I think it's been just kind of, we touched on it earlier, just being that complete player, but showing up and going to work each day, I find it's huge. Just having the opportunity to go and practice and almost play every day. It's so fun, and you just got to enjoy it. And for me, that's a huge part, because if you're not enjoying it, there's no sense in doing it, right? And for us, just as a group, as a team this year, we really got to continue to come together as one, and then the wins and stuff will start coming. But for me in my career, the change has been just enjoying it every day and coming to work. And there's no better feeling than coming to work with your buddies each day and that you battle for each night too.
John Goyens had talked about that earlier, the importance of wanting to have fun, and glad to see that you're doing that. Well, best of luck the rest of the season, Cam. We've enjoyed watching you so far. Thanks for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That is Eagles 4, Cam Squires joining us at the intermission. You're listening to Cape Breton Credit Union Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.